for Parks.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy. Transwest Fuels is an independent wholesale supplier in Gunnedah and Mungandai in my electorate. Normally, it services more than 2,000 agricultural customers. They have now been turned away by their usual bulk fuel supplier in both New South Wales and Queensland and have no certainty that they can secure enough fuel for businesses or the farms they support. What action is the Minister taking to fix Australia's fuel supply storage?
Call to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank the honourable member for his question. As I outlined in my previous answer, yes, in regional Australia there are real pressures on supply chain. So I am sure that the facts that the honourable member has put are correct, and I am sure that that is something that other companies in a similar situation are experiencing. That's why we have convened 3 meetings of the National Oil Emergency Supply Committee, which is an important committee, which every state and territory is represented on. In addition, the relevant ministers and I have convened all the key stakeholders, including the National Farmers.
Order. I'm not really prepared to take the point of order because the minister was answering directly what action, and he was addressing the House. So it is impossible to take a point of order on relevance because the minister was just updating the House on what actions had been taken, what meetings had occurred, who he had met with. So I gave a decision last week that I would take points of order, but you're pushing the friendship if it's on relevance. So the member for Page has the call.
Speaker, with all due respect, the point of order is on relevance because we were asking what action. Meetings aren't action. We want some action, not meetings.
I think everyone heard that point of order and can see for what it was. If the minister is updating the House on his actions that he's taken about a question was asked, that's an abuse of the standing orders. He was updating the House on who he was meeting with about the issue the member for Parks had asked him about. He couldn't have been more directly relevant. No one thinks that's anything other than the case. As I said, if this continues, I will simply not take points of order. I just won't take them, and the minister will continue. So that is in your hands, those people who take points of order. Minister, in continuation.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. We met with the NFF, Trucking Australia, Fertiliser Australia, the peak group of service stations in Australia, the Australian Institute of Petroleum. And I did say to every single person on that call, is there any government action that you would like to ask us 4 ministers for today? Because if you ask for it, we will take it if we can. And the most common response to that, Mr Speaker, was this: please ensure Australians understand there is no need for panic buying because it is that which is causing the pressure. It is that which is causing. That's what the NFF said. That's what the NFF said. That's what the other peak groups said.
Order.
And that's what we are doing. It is the case. There are pressures on supply chains. Well, the Leader of the Opposition interjects, Mr Speaker, saying just move the supplies around. Just move the supplies around. Well, you had 4 refineries closed while the Leader of the Opposition, while the member for Hume was the Minister for Energy. We saw in that period of government 4 refineries closed, which made moving the supplies around just that little bit harder, Mr Speaker, when that happened. I can say to the House, in terms of action, that, as the House knows, the minimum stock obligation requirements are collected weekly but have only been reported quarterly. I have instructed that during this period of heightened uncertainty and concern, those figures will now be reported weekly. They will now be reported weekly. That is a regime which is appropriate in this situation. I haven't heard the Leader of the Opposition weeks ago say it should be done weekly. We have done that. I haven't even called today for it to be done weekly. We have done that. We have done that, and that is appropriate policy action.